Hello, we're live. I'm Amanda Call, and this is my channel. And this is my comic. This is a page from my webcomic, Age of Night. This is chapter 29, page 18. We've worked on this for 3 live streams now, I think. 3? Yeah. And tonight we're going to try to finish it up. We've got it. It's been all drawn. It's been lettered. We got a bunch of the inking done. So we're going to see if we can get this as close to finished as possible. I did all of the background elements and some other little details with the dip pen. And now we're going to work on the figures and whatever else I have left with a brush. I have my Winsor Newton Series 7, number size 4, Klinsky Sable. And I also have the Winsor & Newton Black Indian ink, and that is what I'm going to be using this evening. And we'll see how close to done we get. All right, I got my brush loaded up, and then I just have this very messy piece of paper just out of frame, which I use to just kind of help to hone the tip of my brush when I first get it loaded up with ink. What is there like, oh, there's a hair. I was like, what is in front of my camera? It's like oh, it's a fiber from my blanket. Okay. It was a ghost. There. Jump right in. Hello! Hey, we've got Spud. Someone saying and Hungry Ewok. Thanks so much for coming and joining me this evening. How is everybody doing? Spud is great. Just had the AC guy out to fix the AC. Ooh, yeah, not a good time for your AC to break. Glad he was able to come out and get it done so quickly, though. Like, "1 art, please. Gee, I wonder who that is." Yeah, that is surprising that they came out so fast, but that's good. That's a relief. And someone says Sane says they're just trying to work themselves up to finish inking something. That sometimes picking the brush up is the hardest part. It's just like, come on, we can do this. We can do this. I have faith in you, Spud. I know you can do it. Or sorry, someone saying, I know you can do it. Spud is the one who just had their AC. Sinister is a good friend of mine and is in here trolling me, asking for 1 art, please. But hey, how you doing? Glad you're here. So, how was everybody's week? How's everybody's weekend? How have you all been since last time? Anybody do anything fun over the weekend? Gen Con is over. I'm glad that you're doing well. 1 art for a combo meal. Would that work? Can I just show up to, like, the grocery store and be like, "Hello, here is a drawing. I would like my groceries, please." I feel like that's something that might work, like, once, and then, your grocery store would be like, "Hey, we don't need any more drawings." Thanks, though. Played the Marvel RPG on Saturday. How was that? I remember reading the rule book a while back and being a little bit confused, but obviously I didn't actually play it, so I don't know, like, how well it works once it's on the table. Okay, my brush is being obnoxious. We're gonna clean it, and we're gonna reload. Oh, you played the old one, the 1984 Phase Rip one. Okay, well then, never mind. Playing it old school style. This past weekend, I had, the South Portland Art in the Park Festival. That was very fun. I had not done art in the park before. We were a little bit concerned because the weather, like, the remains of Debbie had hit New England, and Friday was messy, extremely wet and rainy, and we were just like, "Oh, no. Is this gonna get canceled?" But they were like, "No, no, it's gonna be totally fine. The rain is supposed to clear off before we're even really getting into setup. It should be fine." And by some miracle, they were correct and did completely clear off. And it was, like, really muggy in the morning, but then eventually the weather turned and it got a lot nicer. Although it was very muggy for a bit and it was pretty hot all day, but the air got a lot better as the day went on. The only problem was that the park was a wee bit muddy, so that made setup a bit of a challenge. But it was a good day. I sold a bunch of art and people were very friendly. This was a bit more like, so I think, like, when I do the Sidewalk Art Festival in Bangor, it's a little bit, there's a lot more of, like, craft stuff and, like, kind of a better representate like, a larger representation of weird art kinda stuff, kinda like my stuff as far as these festivals go. I was the only skulls, my husband says I was the only skulls that he saw at Art in the Park, and I think you're right. I think I didn't see any other skulls. So yeah, the South Portland one was a lot more like what you expect to find at, like, an Art in the Park type festival. So you had, like, a lot more of the, like, watercolor landscapes and oil paintings of boats and lighthouses and wall art fish made from like driftwood and stuff. And all of that is very cool, but it's just like that's a very different vibe than what I'm normally bringing. So that was so it was just very funny because you'd have some people walk by my booth and just like and be like, "Oh, this is so cool. This is very different from all the other stuff. I really dig it." And that was great. But then sometimes you'd have people who would walk by and just be like, "What is this? What am I looking at? What is this doing here?" The School of Kincaid. Yeah, kind of. I missed a bunch of messages from Sinister. He says, "The new one is written by a friend though, Matt Forbeck from Deadlands." Yep. This art is good, but it needs more cat. The cat is only on this page a little bit. He's right there. He's just on this page a tiny bit. Uh, tabletop role-playing game. There's been 4 Marvel RPGs. This is true. Is anyone ever unfriendly at an art festival? Generally not. That's the one thing I've really enjoyed about a lot of the outdoor festivals and just a lot of the shows I've been to in general this year, because I haven't really done much in the way of I've done all of, like, 1 actual Comic-Con so far this year, which is kind of wild that I only have 2 that are coming up this fall. Um, this has actually been a very light on comic conventions year for me, and instead I've done a lot of other kind of art shows. Um, and yeah, people being kind of weird and rude is kind of par for the course at conventions, gaming cons or comic cons. Not like a lot of people, but some people are just gonna be weird and rude. 'Cause I guess they just don't don't have, like, the social skills necessary to not be weird and rude. Sometimes that just happens. But that just hasn't really been the case at any of the art festivals or anything. People generally either just keep walking by the booth and don't even come in, or they're, like, very kind and they're very engaged and enthusiastic and like, "Oh, this is really cool. Oh, your stuff is so nice. Thank you. That's nice. I like that." The rudest I think I ever had for an interaction is was probably actually at the library, which is very awkward, is the thing that inspired my Comic Possum screen print. Is all the people that would come up to my table at the main authors fest and pick up one of my books and then go, "Oh, it's a comic. I thought it was a real book." And that happened like multiple times. And I'm like, "What who says that? Why would you say that?" But, now that I have the comic books are real books possum, people respond really well to that. I get so many compliments on that. I sell a few of them, but for the most part, I just get a lot of people who are very enthusiastic about it. I've sold quite a few of them to, like, librarians who are like, "Yes, exactly." I know, right? Right? Someone saying, "Who says that? Who does that?" I mean, people say weird stuff a lot at comic and gaming conventions, but a lot of them are just, like, awkward neurospicy nerds, and I think a lot of them just don't necessarily realize that what they're saying is just kinda off. 'Cause I've definitely gotten the, like, "Well, why do you do this kind of work? Why don't you do this kinda work?" 'Cause I just don't. The ones that always kinda baffle me is like, "Well, if you don't make any why aren't you doing any anime? Why aren't you doing any manga? Why are you here if that's not what you do?" It's like, "What? What? Because this is a convention for lots of different things, just not just the thing that you're into there, friend?" Have you ever considered just making greeting cards? I do have a line of little greeting cards. Do I have any over here? No, they're all packed up because I just got back from a show and I have another one this weekend. So, oh no, I hit my camera. You should just say that you tried that and then someone asked you why you weren't doing this, so you switch. Oh, goodness. I do have some greeting cards, uh, and they sell pretty well at the art festivals too, which is nice. I actually have a bunch of them on order right now. Right, no. No, I totally get it. The all the time, my favorite one is when random strangers, like, not even at, an art festival or whatever, I'm just, like, talking to random strangers, like, I was talking to my mailman a little while ago, and he was like, "Oh, you're an artist," and I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, you should illustrate children's books," and I'm like, "Wow, wow, I had no idea that I could do that. Oh, thank you so much, kind stranger, for telling me that this is a thing I could do. Oh, wow. I never knew." It's like that one so many times. "You should illustrate children's books." "Sure, buddy. Yeah. I'm sure that has never occurred to me before." Try anti-greeting cards for the introverts. You'll sell them online though because they won't go to the fairs. What would an anti-greeting card be? Please do not call me. Enjoy your holiday over there. I do not wish you were here, nothing personal. Just wanted to say thanks for not stopping by. I like that. That's good. But yes, Art in the Park was good. I had a good time even though I was completely exhausted and sunburnt and just done by the end of it. And then this coming weekend, I have the Maine Micro Artisan Night Market again. The August version of it is going to be this Saturday evening. Very much looking forward to that. That was a really fun event when I did it in June. So just hoping for good weather at this point. It was nice meeting that one time. Hope you meet someone else again. I appreciate our friendship from a distance. Except that's not even true. You're constantly trying to make me to move out to live near you. They're sinister. Who are you kidding? Who are you trying to kid? Okay. Yay! Look, that panel's done. We have one panel. Totally done. Yeah, so this weekend is the Maine Micro Artisans Bangor Night Market on the Bangor waterfront. It starts at 4 p.m., goes from 4 to 10, I think. Late. Goes till late because it's a night market. And it is very fun and very pretty when the sun is all the way down and it gets dark and everybody's little like lights in all their tents come on and it's very fun. Very magical. So if you happen to be in the area, I would recommend you check it out because it's a good time. And there'll be lots of cool creators there. An introvert's Mother's Day card would just say, "You are my mother." Just acknowledging that this is the fact. Yay. All right. And then I think the night market is my last outdoor event for the season. And I've got a few other comic conventions and stuff coming up and a gaming convention. Is the plan. Oh my gosh, it's a Jason. What's the decision-making process for what parts of a panel you ink first? Uh, yeah, so I generally do all of the pen first. Like I do everything with the pen nib first. And basically the only reason I do all of the pen nib first and then all of the brush stuff is just because they use different types of ink. I don't want to let the ink really like dry in any of the tools. And so switching between them, I don't want to like have two bottles of ink open and then have like ink drying in the brush while I'm using the pen or vice versa. So I just do everything, just about everything pen first, and then I come through and I do everything brush after that. And then if I like realize that I missed anything with the pen, I'll go back and redo that. And generally, it's backgrounds get done with the pen because that just helps to keep the lines a little bit lighter, so that the heavier lines on the figures help to pop them forward. And also sometimes tiny details of like inorganic things, especially so like stuff like little chain on her necklace is a really tiny detail, and it's also something inorganic. A lot of the like lines of armor or like jewelry, that sort of thing, and then like swords, weapons, anything like that that's got to look like really stiff and have like a very even line to it. I'll generally do all of that stuff in the pen. Um, and sometimes it's just a matter of I've tried to ink some of that stuff with a brush before and I didn't really like the way it came out. And I like the way it came out with the pen better. And so I'll do that. But it's pretty much just because I do each tool in its own separate pass just to keep them in better shape by not letting the ink get all gunky in them while I'm switching between the two. Hopefully that response made some kind of sense. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also just it's kind of an efficiency thing too, because if I'm just doing everything in like I'm in pen mode and then I can get a whole bunch of stuff done in pen mode and just go a lot faster than if I'm constantly switching between pen mode and brush mode. So, because in general, while you'll see me these pages like just 1 hour at a time on the stream, it's really not how I work on most of them. I generally am batching my pages, so I'll be doing like I'll have two or three that I'm working on at a time so that I can get in a good groove and like get the penciling done on two or three of them because I do still pencil and ink each of them relatively quickly. And so like a decent amount of a work session, like if I have a good 4 or 5 hours to get work done, then I can easily get a couple of pages penciled, or a couple of pages inked in that time. And so by having like a couple of them going at any given time, it's like I can take that kind of idea of like, okay, now I'm in the penciling groove and I'm going to do a couple of pages penciling, and then okay, now I'm doing like the nib inking, and I'm going to get a couple of them done that way. Just kind of extends that theory out. 'Cause, yes, it doesn't normally take me a month to finish a page like it does on a stream. That's why I'm usually picking a page that's, like, a good ways ahead of whatever's posting online so that I can take my time doing it with you guys instead of doing it at the pace and in the normal production way that I would with the rest of my pages. Once you get into a groove, yeah, exactly. It's a lot of the creative stuff is like it's referred to as like flow based. I think there's a different like name for that type of brainwave. I can't remember what it is, but there's like a kind of mode that your brain gets into when you're doing stuff like that, creative stuff like that, that's skill based, like you said. Every time I have to do characters with dreads, I'm like, why did I do this? This is a lot of work. It comes out looking really cool though. It's just a lot of work. All right. Oops. Sorry. We need the quilting there on the little whatever you want to call it. What do you call that? The like under suffering for your art. No, suffering for your art is bad. No suffering. Let's not suffer. I feel like somebody I know posted something about that recently, and I don't remember whether I actually like ended up reposting it with my thoughts or not. My thoughts are too numerous for that. Like suffering for your art. Suffering's bad. Don't suffer. If you experience suffering in your life, by all means, process that with your art. But the art should not cause the suffering. Which is not to say that it's always fun and easy either. But there's a difference between like suffering. Yeah, right. I prefer to not suffer whenever possible as well. Less suffering, please. There's a difference between like suffering and like, making some amount of sacrifices because we can't do all of the things we want all the time, and sometimes you have to make difficult choices, or accepting that if you want to pursue art as a career, that means you are not necessarily going to make as much money as you did as if you did other things. Or, like, just that sometimes making art is difficult and it's hard work, and that's not always pleasant, but I wouldn't call it suffering, and that discipline, like a disciplined, like maintaining like a disciplined practice and making yourself work even when you're not super feeling it, and understanding the difference between I just need to kick my ass in gear and I need to actually take a break. Like, those things are all more difficult parts of art, but again, I wouldn't call them suffering. That's why I fly to faraway place and not drive. Right. These itsy bitsy figures, trying not to screw them up. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Art is not easy. It is a result of a lot of work, education, and time. Yes. And I I think that's part of the thing too of I think that what is going on? Why am I not getting any ink out of you? What are we doing here? Rinse off and try again. I had a thought and then I got interrupted by my brush being uncooperative. What was my thought about? Uh yeah, I think that the discipline thing is something that a lot of people struggle with too, of just like I have, art block or whatever. I'm not really feeling it. I don't know what to draw. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes you just gotta friggin' do it. Like, that was part of the strategy of doing Age of Night as a weekly update webcomic, is that it's like, well, I gotta make a new page this week. I just gotta do it. The pages, they just gotta get done, because even if they don't come out as good as I want them to, at least they will exist, and that is better than them not existing. Even if it's a struggle and I'm not having a great time, I can't get past this. Like, the only way to get through it a lot of time is to actually like work through it. But it is also like the other side of that, of course, is that it is also important to still have times where you're resting, and that rest is not just like physical rest, because obviously me sitting here right now just moving my hand is not physically strenuous, Um, but you need mental rest. You need your brain to be doing stuff that's not art. And I know we all joke about, or at least not the same kind of art. I know we all joke about, like, what do you do for fun? I draw. What do you do for work? I draw. And, like, yeah, that's it's a problem a lot of us have. But it's important to give yourself some kind of mental breaks. And that doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing or just doing something passive. That's doing something that allows your brain to rejuvenate itself for creating more work, like for going back to art. And so that can be like working on something completely different or doing a completely different type of thing that still engages your brain, but is engaging a different part of your brain so that you aren't constantly just like grinding away on the same neural pathways until they're worn bloody. Like, not how your brain actually works, but you get what I mean. All right. There's that guy's fuzzy little head. I meant what you do. All right. Where are we at? We're at 44 minutes. We're getting close to the end here. What does everybody else have planned for this weekend? I have another art festival situation. What are you all doing? Why is the tip of my brush being uncooperative? There we go. All right. I only have one more teeny tiny figure in this one. Let's see. Jason says, I have a shot in the knee. Blah! And then a day of don't walk on your wounded knee and a couple days of work. Leaf. How quickly and without mistakes your pages come together. Aw, thanks. I think the thing is I make a lot of very tiny mistakes, but I just kind of roll with them. I basically I'm just like, you know what? Oh, is that line where I wanted it? Not exactly. Is it a disaster? No. We're just gonna roll with it. All right. Yay, that panel's done. I only have 2 panels left. I probably won't quite finish both of them before we reach time, but we'll be pretty close to this page being totally done. But we're getting close to the end. So before I get all sucked into this figure and totally forget, I'm going to start doing some of the YouTube things. I shall remind you all that I am Amanda Call. This is my YouTube channel, and here on my YouTube channel, we work on artwork every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Uh, unless for some reason I can't make it, in which case I will make sure to let people know. I usually make a post, like a community post on my channel. So that's why it's a great idea to subscribe so that if I do have to cancel for some reason, you will see that notification of me going, "Hey guys, sorry I can't make it," or "Oh, we have to push it back by half an hour," or whatever the case may be. What I'm working on this week, what I have been doing the last couple of weeks, is working on a page for my webcomic Age of Night. You can read Age of Night at ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. That has a new page just about every Wednesday. And yeah, you can read the whole thing there for free. However, if you would like to help support me in my comic making efforts, I also have a Patreon. And that is found at patreon.com/Age of Night, spelled the same way as the comic. Patrons always get their comics a week early, as well as other little behind the scenes, free comics for signing up, other cool stuff like that. I also have my books are available on Amazon, on the drive-through sites, so that's Drive-Through RPG, Drive-Through Comics, and Drive-Through Fiction. They're available on Skirmisher's website, skirmisher.com. You can get them from me at events. I also have, if you want other like merch type stuff or other artwork that I do, I have a Ko-fi store, Ko-fi, whatever, ko-fi.com/Amanda Call Art. If you want to make a donation or if you want to buy some stuff. I have mini comics up there too, which is fun. Also a fun option. Aw, thank you so much for the compliment, Jason. It's like a bajillion hours of practice. Okay, we are not dry brushing right now. Don't act like this. There we go. I also have various, aside from the YouTube channel, I have various social medias that I use or ignore to varying degrees. Look for me on any of the social medias as either Age of Night or Amanda Call Art. I'll be one of those. All right, where are we at? It is 8:55. All right, so I only have a tiny bit of brush inking left. This page is almost completely done, and we did this pretty much entirely over the course of 4 live streams. I did do the lettering off stream, so that was like probably like 30 minutes or so that you didn't get to see. So altogether, this page is once I finish these last couple of figures, this page is going to take me probably a total of I add if it's 4 hours plus that 30 minutes and then another like 15 or so. So just shy of 5 hours for this whole page. So that is what we've got. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me this week. We're going to work on something different next week. We'll see what that is. So thanks everybody. I will see you next time. Bye.